The news tonight, we must address the challenge of infrastructure to attain the desired height. This is coming from the acting president, Yemi Osinbajo, as he addresses participants at the Small and Medium Enterprises Clinic in Abeokuta, Ogun State.
Society which does not exude its support for the rule of law, its investment in the quality and integrity of its judicial system cannot and will not prosper.
Over 1,000 new wigs called to bar, just as female judges from the West African sub-region deliberate on strategic importance of forging ahead in the face of all odds.
NTA sought for foreign partners to actualize its objective of providing multi-channel and laying the foundation for a national digital switchover, DSO.
Director General, Nigerian Television Authority, explains the rationale for joint venture with Star Times. Plus, Senate passes bill on taxation and the House of Representatives passes the National Assembly Budget and Research Office bill. A warm welcome to NTA Network News. I am Elizabeth Banu. In Lagos is Jennifer.
Good evening and a warm welcome to the news.
And in Sokoto is Asmau Habibu Shagari.
Good evening and welcome.
Now, Nigeria has to watch her oil production to a predictive level of comfort and partner with industry players to stabilize the market. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Ibe Kachiku, who is not frightened by the volatility in the price of oil in relation to the benchmark in the 2017 budget, however, called for proactive measures ahead of 2018 as the global oil market may experience surplus. Lydia Sampson reports.
172nd OPEC conference held in May 2017 in Vienna extended the November 2016 agreement exempting Nigeria and Libya from production management agreement due to the situation in both countries. The bearish global oil prices have, however, seen crude oil prices falling from $51 to 44 as at 11th July 2017. Development that those who know says the production cuts by OPEC and Russia at the start of the year was not deep enough to clear global glut. Minister of State Petroleum Resources Ibe Kachiku, however, says in spite of the dynamics of global supply, he is optimistic that Nigeria will find stability.
We still are below the benchmark set for us by OPEC. And I think that over the next 1 or 2 months, hopefully we can get to that point where we can say the recovery has been tested, is systemic, and is predictable. The problem with this sort of recoveries is today could be fine and tomorrow you never know what happens. So we need to watch that for a couple of months to be able to get a predictive comfort that we are where we ought now to then voluntarily go to OPEC and sit down and see how we can contribute. But let's make no mistake about it, Nigeria is a very firm member of OPEC. We've been very active in this organization for 46 years. We will continue to be very active. We're basically some of the brains behind some of the cost analysis and cost strategy that was done together with Saudi Arabia and the rest. So we're fully in support of this and we'll continue to support what it is we're doing.
Kachuku said after due consultations with petroleum ministers from other countries, Nigeria will formally decide on what to do on what he calls a difficult terrain that must be watched. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
The newly established 6th Division Nigerian Army in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, is now in operation. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the Minister of Defense, Mansour Dang Ali, performed the ceremony.
This combined show of force exercise officially operationalized the activities of the new 6th Division with headquarters in Port Harcourt. The formation, formerly a brigade, was upgraded to a division after a critical assessment of security situation in the zone and the approval contained in the reviewed Nigerian Army 2016 Order of Battle.
The conduct of operation must be in line with your constitutional roles and the rules of engagement. This is the only way to justify the enormous resources invested by government.
Though records from the Ministry of Defense show about 70% reduction in piracy, the Chief of Army Staff tasked the new 6th Division to further address oil theft, pipeline vandalism, and kidnapping in the nation's rich oil region.
Equally, for some strategic considerations, some formations and units were created. The 16th Brigade and the 63 Brigade in Bayelsa and Delta states, and the all 2 brigades which I happen to proudly command was relocated to Akwa Ibom State.
The division has Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, Delta, and Rivers states as area of responsibility.
We are therefore happy and grateful to the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Muhammadu Buhari, for approving and funding the Port Harcourt operational base of the Nigerian Army to a full division with corresponding levels of armaments.
Rivers State government donated 20 operational vehicles to the new division. From Port Harcourt, Rivers State, Ismail Musa, NTA.
Civil Defense, Fire Service, Immigration and Prisons Board, under the chairmanship of the Minister of Interior, Abdurrahman Dambazo, has approved the regularization of the dichotomy between holders of university degrees and higher national diploma HND in all the services. To this end, all officers with HND are to be upgraded to Compass 08. HND holders are to start with the rank of Senior Inspector, while the degree holders are to start with the rank of Assistant Superintendent 2. The board also approved the commencement of the year 2017 promotion for all the services with effect from 17th July 2017. To boost internal security, the board approved the establishment of the Institute of Domestic Security, as well as an approval for the reorganization of the Nigerian Immigration Service in line with the provision of Immigration Act, which stipulates the establishment of 8 directorates. The chairman of the board and Minister of Interior, Abdurrahman Dambazo, enjoined the services to redouble their efforts as the approvals are in line with the executive order on the ease of doing business. The Senate has passed 9 bills. National Assembly correspondent Waziri Zayanu reports that the bills include avoidance of double taxation between Nigeria, Sweden, Spain, and South Korea, among others.
Presenting the bills for concurrence, Senate Leader Ahmad Lawal listed others to include the Chartered Institute of Treasury Management Bill 2017, as well as the Anti-Torture Bill 2017.
The Anti-Torture Bill 2017. This bill seeks to ensure that the rights of all persons, including suspects, detainees, and prisoners, are respected at all times.
Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu noted that passage of the bill will enhance trade relations between Nigeria and countries affected.
By passing these bills today, we've been able to fulfill the legal requirements that will bring these agreements into force.
Outside plenary, Senate President Bukola Saraki has urged all stakeholders in the education sector to remain calm on the new 9-year basic education curriculum to enable the National Assembly look into the various issues involved. He stated this when members of the Christian Association of Nigeria visited the National Assembly. In another development, the Senate President has donated a 15-seater Toyota bus to the Foundation of Persons Living with Disabilities in the 9 Niger Delta states. The donation is in fulfillment of a pledge earlier made to the association last year. Senate Leader Ahmad Lawal made the presentation on behalf of the Senate President. From the National Assembly, Waziri Zayan, NTA News.
The House of Representatives has adopted a motion urging the federal government to direct the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to extend its flood relief disaster fund to the people of Anambra State. National Assembly correspondent Dennis Adegunoye reports on this and a motion on the alleged killing of 97 Nigerians by Cameroon gendarmes.
Representative Obina Chidoka of Anambra State under matters of urgent public importance noted the omission of Anambra State from the list of states to benefit from the fund.
It might be capable of creating some disaffection amongst the people of the state.
Also under matters of urgent public importance, Representative Gabriel Kolawole of Ondo State moved a motion on the activities of Cameroonian gendarmes over 97 alleged deaths of Nigerians.
We'll have to wait for the outcome of the investigation to be conducted by the Committee on Foreign Affairs.
A bill for an act to establish the National Assembly Budget and Research Office, providing the National Assembly with objective, timely and non-partisan analysis need for economic and budget decisions, sponsored by the Leader of the House, was passed. In his absence, Representative Mohammed Mongonu was the acting Leader of the House.
When it goes to the public hearing, all the nitty-gritty as it affects the modus operandi of this bill will be trashed out.
Also passed for second reading was a bill for an act to establish the National Cotton, Textile and Garment Development Council, sponsored by Abubakar Hussaini Moriki. About 5 motions were also adopted.
The House notes that the National Council on Privatization is the only federal government body empowered to approve the privatization and commercialization of public enterprises.
Meanwhile, Minority Leader Leo Ogo addressed reporters on the recent judgments by the Supreme Court on the PDP leadership tussle.
For democracy to thrive, there must be viral opposition, and I think the judiciary have acknowledged this fact.
Plenary resumes next week. From the National Assembly, Dennis Adegunloye, NTA News.
Still at the National Assembly, the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, entered into a joint venture with Star Times to meet modern digital television broadcasting after it got approval and advice from the Ministry of Information and Justice. This was the submission of the Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, when he appeared before the House Committee on Information, National Orientation, Ethics and Values. Adebola Brooksland Sunday has details.
Sidedness in the equity share.
70% for Star Times and 30% for NTA as equity proportion, which was petitioned by some Nigerians, led to the hearing, which members of the committee reaffirmed that the security and welfare of the people is their major mandate.
But NTA sought the approval of the Federal Ministry of Information.
When the DG NTA had the floor, he made it clear that no staff from NTA migrated to Star Times and that NTA's infrastructure remains NTA's property, but only a tool for the venture.
NTA sought for foreign partners to actualize its objective of providing multi-channel and laying the foundation for a national digital switchover DSO. A strategic alliance partnership was agreed upon between the two parties and a joint company was formed. The joint venture has helped in digital TV penetration in Nigeria and also reduce the digital divide by providing affordable PTV operation in Nigeria.
An investment of about $200 million.
Issues on revenue generation, shareholding, non-cash contribution of NTA in the venture were also raised by some of the members.
At the time of forming this company, it was a novel idea. Thank God the legal team there captured that it is not sacrosanct, it's not cast in stone. As we make progress, this will be reviewed.
Chairman of the committee, Odebunmi Olusegun, believed that the joint venture was born out of NTA's ability to think outside the box.
If we go back to the budget of this federation in the last 10 years, my colleagues, you will pity the NTA because we are not funding them as a national broadcasting agency for this nation. And that is what I'm saying. The baby have already been given back to. We are not going to throw the baby out with the water.
NTA and Star Times entered into the partnership about 8 years ago. The committee is riding on the resolution of the House to investigate and ascertain the level of interest, representation and protection of Nigerians in the joint venture between NTA and Star Times. From the National Assembly, Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
Away from the National Assembly now, Acting President Yemi Osinbajo says honesty of public officials is fundamental to the growth of the nation's economy. He said this at the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Clinic in Abeokuta, Ogun State. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Underscoring how important it is for the nation to have a crop of sincere public officials, Acting President Yemi Osinbajo says Nigeria would grow to its full potential only when things are done rightly, as in other great nations.
We have tremendous potential, but we must do everything that needs to be done. We must behave in the way that great countries behave. We can't tolerate laziness, we can't tolerate stealing, we can't tolerate corruption. We must do the things that great countries do to be great.
Acting President Osinbajo observes that Ogun State is fast becoming the industrial hub of Nigeria, and that government agencies such as the Corporate Affairs Commission, NAFDAC and Standard Organization of Nigeria would open offices in the state to serve the people. Governor of the state, Ibikunle Amosun, commends the federal government initiatives aimed at promoting investment and growing the nation.
We are convinced that cottage industries and by extension MSMEs remains a catalyst for economic growth and recovery.
The MSME clinic in Abeokuta, Ogun State is the 7th in the series. Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has assured stakeholders in the aviation industry that the federal government's ease of doing business policy is designed to create a level playing ground for all forms of joining businesses to thrive in the country. The minister stated this at the second quarter Aviation Safety Roundtable initiative in Lagos. Anthony Forson reports.
The Aviation Safety Roundtable initiative since inception has remained a platform where stakeholders in the industry come together to take stock and review operations and services, as well as establish standards for aviation safety. With aviation as a catalyst for economic growth being the topic for discussion, Information and Culture Minister again used the platform to make bare efforts being made by the present administration to get things right in the country, having inherited a system nearing collapse.
We must not get into a state of fog where we despair and think there is no solution. Oh yes, we have a lot of challenges in the area of regulatory framework.
While calling for restraints in promoting divisive tendencies, the minister said those who do not wish Nigeria well always fan the embers of disunity. But with the federal government's determination to grow the economy, promote unity, there is a huge investment on the part of government in developing infrastructure.
I can beat my chest and say that this government has come, has seen the problem, and has very courageously addressed the issues.
Allen Onyama, Managing Director Air Peace, and Wale Babalakin, Chairman Biocotany Aviation Services, spoke on air safety and investment opportunities in the sector.
You see, that ease of doing business in Nigeria program is going to change a whole lot of things. Immediately they established that program, within that first week, I saw a lot of changes. But please, sir, let them sustain it.
We have to find a way that at negotiation stage, the best minds of government are there at negotiation stage. Agreements once done must be obeyed.
Other speakers at the forum applauded the federal government's commitment in building a strong and virile economy, but were quick to appeal to the federal government to come to their aid, saying the dominance of foreign airlines operating in Nigeria is dwarfing their operations. In Lagos, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
For the legal profession to serve as engine room for the development of the nation, legal practitioners are advised to adhere to the rule of law, exhibit good character and decorum while discharging their duties. Chief Justice of Nigeria, Walter Onogen, said this at the 2017 call to bar of new lawyers in Abuja. Aliu Tukur has details.
always referred to as the last hope for the common man. It also serves as the vanguard for the sustenance of human rights and the rule of law, which explains why premium is placed on the quality and integrity of judicial officers and the system. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Walter Onogen, did not mince words in drumming this to the new weeks, whom he advised to study the rules of the legal profession and apply them for speedy dispensation of justice and rescue the country from lawlessness and corruption.
A society which does not exude its support for the rule of law, its investment in the quality and integrity of its judicial system cannot and will not prosper.
You must ensure that you are far above the minimum in all that you do.
We will charge the newly called members of the legal profession today to be very upright and to show keen interest in maintaining professional discipline.
The messages were not lost on the new weeks, as they say they are conscious of what is expected of them.
As a new week, my watchdog is justice.
The public needs to know what they need to know about whatever is going on.
Out of the 1,468 new weeks, 1,390 are the candidates that had to resit their examinations last April, while 78 candidates are from previous bar final examinations. In Abuja, Aliu Tukur, NTA News.
While female judges from West Africa are encouraging more women to participate in governance. Saliu Abdullahi reports that most speakers at a 3-day Women Judges Conference holding in Abuja are of the opinion that it will further strengthen democracy in the sub-region.
The first West African Sub-Regional Conference attracts jurists from across 10 member ECOWAS countries who are gathered here to brainstorm on how to move forward and address some salient issues. Participants went straight to business, highlighting legal issues of regional interest, women's leadership in politics and policymaking, human trafficking, internally displaced persons.
We must make a conscious effort to promote consensus-based gender equality socialization among our male colleagues.
And as I assure you, there is no disparity, especially in this country, for the leadership.
Under Islamic law, women are given percentages.
President, National Association of Women Judges of Nigeria, Justice Uwani Musa Abba, is optimistic that issues highlighted will be carefully considered to address identified challenges.
To look at the issue, especially of the girl child sextation, so on and so forth.
The conference seeks to foster understanding and address common cultural experiences. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device or at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. Looking ahead on the news tonight, internally displaced persons in Bauchi get respite. We'll bring you details shortly. Stay with us.
Going up? Of course you are. And why not? With Glow Internet, built on Africa's largest wholly owned metro fiber network, the sky is, well, it is rather unlimited. Up is upbeat, seamless. Up is quick and easy access to all your favorite apps and entertainment. And there is no downside on a network committed to upping your fun and productivity. Get quick on your uptake, my friend, and offset the odds in your favor. Because on Glow, up isn't an upgrade. It is the upgrade. Going up?
These data plans are available to all new customers and existing customers who renew their plans. Dial *777#. The largest data network. Glow, grandmasters of data.
very, very privileged to have a place like this as an accommodation, and I thank Governor Kashim Shettima.
I don't know anywhere else that provide very nice accommodations like the Borno State Governor.
Actually, having this accommodation is a good gesture from the state government.
Now who they here? My name now Mr. Shortcut. I dey mind my money. Now cheap one I dey buy. Standard, we sign. Now to buy cheap one. Hey, now one kind cable for my yard. A cheap building material where we take build my office. I think say I dey save money. Office building collapse and fire burn my house.
You don't see what happened to Mr. Shortcut? Well, Standards Organization of Nigeria, SON, don't ready for action and say enough of pain, loss and wastage. And if you see product where no dey correct, call the SON office way near you or SON help desk. Standards Organization of Nigeria, improving life through standards.
Good governance is when the life of the governed changes for the better. When there is improvement in healthcare, in education, transportation, economic empowerment, and the security of life and property. When the people have an array of infrastructure, services, and institutions that help them realize their potentials. Good governance is ingenious, honest, interdependent, and result-driven. Good governance is what Ibrahim Gaidam has made true in Yobe State through his pragmatic and persistent leadership. It is what is helping Yobe move forward despite years of being held back by Boko Haram terrorism. Ibrahim Gaidam, governance humanized. Yobe, truly the pride of the Sahel.
Are you a government organization, private sector player, or stakeholder interested in the operation of remotely piloted aircraft system? Then this information is for you. The International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, is organizing a symposium on remotely piloted aircraft system for the African and Indian Ocean region. The symposium, with the theme Remotely Piloted Aviation in Africa, Sharing Experiences and Challenges, is scheduled to hold as follows. Date 17th to 18th of July 2017. Venue, Abuja Sheraton Hotel and Towers. For details and registration, please visit the ICAO website. Sabiu Zakari, Permanent Secretary, Announcer.
Busy.
Keep those things well.
I know.
You know what? Let me get the Wi-Fi password. Uncle Bayo, please, can I have the Wi-Fi password?
You all will sign here. You sign here. Right here. And this is for 1 gig data plan. You sign here, here.
It's me, Bayo.
We need data. With 8 guarantors.
What? Why?
Woza. And right at the back, too.
Oh, come on, Bayo.
You are binded by the law.
How much is this internet?
Listen, how much is the internet? You want to know how much is the internet, then go to your house.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
The Nigerian police now operates in the best international practices of policing? Do you know that the Nigerian police has been restructured to be more accountable and responsive to all your security challenges? Now, what the police demand from you is your trust, your collaborative efforts by providing necessary information about criminals and their activities in your neighborhood. Be vigilant to achieve our creed as we promise. We shall police the country based on international core values of policing with integrity. We shall ensure that rule of law prevails in our actions and activities. We shall respect diversity, display courage, show compassion, and demonstrate professionalism. We shall operate within the principle of democratic policing. We shall shun corruption, and we shall make Nigeria safer and secured under the leadership of IGP Ibrahim Otum Idris.
Let the wind of change blowing across the country chase away crime for the benefit of our society. Yes, the Nigerian police says this change must come with peace and tranquility.
This message was brought to you by the Public Relations Department of the Nigerian Police Force.
A day out with Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka and a your literary icon.
His Excellency Honorable Henry Seriake Dixon, Governor of Bayelsa State, the Restoration Government heartily welcome our most distinguished Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka to Bayelsa State, the glory of all lands, on a memorable day out in company of Ijo literary icons like Dr. Gabriel Okara, Professor John Pepper Clark, and Professor Ibiegberi J. Alagwa.
Date Friday, 14th July 2017. Venue Ijo National Academy, Kayama.
Featuring presentation of written and spoken words.
Chief host, His Excellency Chief Henry Seriake Dixon, Governor of Bayelsa State.
A day out with Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka and Ijo literary icons offers a veritable interactive platform for Nigeria's intelligentsia, the principal and students of the Ijo National Academy, as well as Bayelsas from all walks of life. 7 p.m. Command performance at the Chief DSP Alamesia Banquet Hall.
You are welcome.
Noah Aloha Do.
Honorable Jonathan Obuebite, Commissioner for Information Orientation and Answer.
Thank you for staying with us on NTA Network News. Ahead of next week's Creative Industry Financing Conference scheduled to hold in Lagos, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed says the objective is to take the industry into a golden era of smooth access to short and long-term financing. The minister stated this at a briefing in Lagos. Anthony Folson reports.
Emergency, you never see me coming through.
Having identified lack of access to finance by the sector, hence its stunted growth, the Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed says the present administration's determination to diversify the economy prompted the conference.
This administration attaches a whole lot of importance to the creative industry. This is in line with its cardinal program of diversifying the economy away from oil. The overall essence of all our efforts is to transform the creative industry to a creative economy. We also believe that this transformation must be driven by the private sector.
The conference, the minister explained, will take a cursory look at government's role in funding creative industry, the Bank of Industry's experience, fundamentals of financing film, television and music production, as well as film, television and digital distribution.
To those who may still be wondering, what is in the creative industry? My answer is that it is Nigeria's new oil. Other countries have also taken advantage of the industry to grow their economy.
Of heartwarming, he said, is neighboring Niger Republic's interest to be part of the conference, which will be declared open by the acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo. The conference is being jointly organized by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture and Think Tank Media. In Lagos, Anthony Folson, NTA News.
Talking health now, Nigeria is one of the world's remaining 3 countries that is still grappling with polio disease, a situation health monitors say should not be so given the human and natural wherewithal of the country. Health correspondent Rashidat Mustafa Olagunjo seeks answers to why it is so.
It is a known fact that polio is a debilitating disease that leaves its victims permanently paralyzed. Combating it in Nigeria has been a long and difficult battle, though Nigeria interrupted its transmission for about 2 years before it reared its ugly head in 2016. As of today, the nation has not recorded any case of polio for about 10 months.
Recent multi-indicator cluster survey and the national immunization coverage survey shows that we're covering less than 50% of our kids. That means over 700,000 children in Nigeria are vulnerable to vaccine-preventable diseases.
Recently, the federal government of Nigeria launched an emergency immunization program in 14 northern states with less than 40% of routine immunization coverage to scale up the fight, with a call on governors of the affected states to do the needful.
In some states, for instance, the governors are not even providing funds for routine immunization. So health facilities do not have the funding that is required for them to go and conduct routine immunization sessions.
To sustain the present status, experts call on the federal government to take ownership of funding immunization, particularly with dwindling donor funds. Rashidat Mustafa Olagunju, NTA News.
It is the priority of the federal government to ensure that internally displaced persons in the Northeast are empowered. Federal Commissioner, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, Haja Sadia Umar Farouk, stated this while flagging off the distribution of skills acquisition equipment in Azare town in Bauchi State. Correspondent Mariam Mubala reports.
The Federal Commissioner, who believes that the economic empowerment will improve the well-being of the IDPs, said the goal of the Commission is to ensure they utilize the skills acquired during the training. She, however, revealed the determination of the federal government towards the provision of social services to the IDPs across the country. Receiving the items on behalf of the State Governor, Muhammad Abdullahi Abubakar, Chief of Staff of the Bauchi State Government House, Audu Suleka Tagum, appreciated the federal government's intervention to the state. Some of the beneficiaries described the gesture as worth commending. In Bauchi, Mariam Mubala, NTA News.
The Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Malan Garbashehu, says the federal government is working on modalities through legislation to make every part of Nigeria safe for people to work and coexist, irrespective of their ethno-religious background. Malan Garbashehu was speaking at a presentation by trainees of the Positive Voices Campaign Project in Abuja. Ilyasu Aliyakub reports.
The Positive Voices Campaign Project, presently working in 5 states of Kaduna, Plateau, Kano, Yobe and Borno State, is geared towards changing the narratives of youth violent extremism to a positive and mutual coexistence. It is also to reduce youth's vulnerability and their involvement in conflict, radicalism and extremism. Garba Shehu commended the initiative and said some of the programs introduced by the federal government to engage youth meaningfully are yielding positive results.
The president did promise that his administration will engender policies that will recognize citizens on the basis of where they reside, not state of origin or ethnicity or religion. And as you can see, this is already being practiced when you look at what is happening with the social investment programs of the administration.
Now grown young men and women that go back to their communities and start propagating more positive messages.
So we need a lot more of the positive voices to counter what the negative voices are putting out there, which more often than not is not the correct narrative.
Other speakers at the occasion emphasized the need for stakeholders and private sectors to fund such initiative for the unity and development of Nigeria. In Abuja, Ilyasu Aliyakubu, NTA News.
The Nigerian Communication Commission has assured of its readiness to provide excellent services to consumers as a regulatory agency. This came to light at a consumer forum to access its services in Kano. Binta Adamu reports that the target consumers are people from Kurna, Rijiyar Zaki and Gwamaja in Kano.
With the theme Information and Education as a catalyst for consumer protection, the cardinal objective of the Nigerian Communication Commission is to ensure protection of telecom consumers from market exploitation and empowering them to make rational and informal decisions when making choices of services. Ismail Adebege is the Deputy Director, Consumer Affairs Bureau, Nigerian Communication Commission.
The consumer is important, and there's need to educate them so that they will know their rights. And then when they know their right and they are knowledgeable about the services, that is when they are protected.
The head of public relations, NCC, Ruben Umoka, says consumer is a king and his interests must be protected jealously.
The consumer, you said, is king, and the revenues they earn come from the consumer. So they must prioritize the way, not only providing the services, but also in equipping the consumers with the right information.
It's a nice thing that the NCC is partnering with the telecom companies to educate them.
Some participants described the forum as beneficial.
People have been complaining about unsolicited text messages, phone calls, and they don't even know how to attack it, how to stop it. But now there is serious awareness given by the service providers, the NCC. I believe this is a good achievement.
It is a great beneficiary, and it is very nice, and the people were very appreciating the situation.
The NCC has declared 2017 as a year of telecom for consumers. The flag-off took place on the 15th of March 2017, while the campaign has started all over the country. The campaign is to deepen awareness on the NCC 622 toll-free line to lodge complaints and the 2442 code to stop unsolicited messages. From Kano, Binta Adamu, NTA News.
The Nigeria police, in its renewed determination to prevent kidnapping and other violent crimes on the Abuja-Kaduna highway, has arrested 7 principal suspects allegedly responsible for several kidnappings, armed robbery and cattle rustling. Force Public Relations Officer Juma Moshood made this known to journalists in Abuja while parading the suspects. Joseph Johnson reports.
7 suspects were arrested from 3 villages in Kaduna State through the efforts of the Special Intervention Force. CSP Moshood said items recovered from them include AK-47 rifle, 2 locally made pistols, 30 rounds of live ammunition and 1 magazine. Others are 3 cutlasses and charms.
The Inspector General of Police have directed that the Nigerian Police Force, in its renewed determination to prevent crimes and criminality throughout the country, will not relent in ensuring that crimes that cannot be prevented are promptly detected.
One of the principal suspects, while fielding questions from journalists, said he purchased the AK-47 rifle with the sum of 400,000 naira for cattle rustling. Meanwhile, the force PRO said operations along Abuja-Kaduna Road and the highways in the country are being pursued with the same figure and will equally be sustained to ensure adequate safety of lives and property of all Nigerians. The suspects will be charged to court on completion of investigation. From the police force headquarters, Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
You're watching NTA Network News. Lagos, the Center of Excellence, has the next set of reports, and Jennifer is our guide. Over to you, Jennifer.
Good evening and a warm welcome to Lagos. The Federal High Court sitting in Lagos has awarded a punitive cost of 20,000 naira against Olukoya Ogungbeje, counsel to notorious kidnapper kingpin Chukwudumeme Onoamadike, popularly known as Evans. Justice Abdulaziz Anka awarded the cost while adjourning a fundamental rights suit filed by the counsel on behalf of Evans. Vera Chimuba has more.
In the suit filed by Olukoya Ogungbeje on behalf of the kidnapper kingpin Chukwudumeme Onwamadike, popularly known as Evans, is contending that his continued detention by the respondents since 10th of June without being charged to court or released on bail amounts to an infringement on his fundamental human rights. Joined in the suit are the Nigerian Police Force, Lagos State Police Command, and the Special Anti-Robbery Squad. Evans had sought an order of the court compelling the respondents to immediately charge him to court in accordance with the constitutional provisions or release him on bail in the absence of any charge. The case, which was for hearing last Thursday, could not proceed because Ivan's counsel, Ogungbeje, was absent in court. At the resumed hearing, a litigation officer from Ogungbeje's law firm, Stephen Abunike, told the court that his principal was indisposed and had written a letter seeking an adjournment. He further told the court that he had attempted to serve a copy of the letter to the police counsel, but he declined service. Counsel to the police, Emmanuel Eze, told the court that he only cited the letter which was signed by one Sahid Sani from Ogungbeje's law firm in court. He urged the court to reject the excuse but consider the action of Ogungbeje as an affront to the court. In his ruling, Justice Anka said it is unprofessional for a lawyer to communicate with a judge without carrying the other parties along. He warned the counsel to desist from such conduct and awarded a punitive cost of 20,000 naira against him. Further hearing continues on the 20th of July. In Lagos, Viera Chomuba, NTA News.
Now, the federal government will not spare any efforts to harness the full potential inherent in the renewable energy sources with a view to sustaining the current incremental power drive across the country. Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, stated this while delivering a lecture on power sector reforms and challenges in Lagos. The event is organized by the Department of Economics, University of Lagos. Musa Toliat has the details.
Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola said the current effort aimed at tapping into energy mix is born out of the solution-driven approach contained in the power sector reforms. He emphasized that the federal government has provided an enabling environment for investors to key into the solar power initiative and develop other sources of energy.
We have completed the 1.2 megawatt solar power plant in the Lower Usman Dam. We have also signed agreement with 14 developers who cumulatively have the capacity to develop 1,125 megawatts of solar.
Although the Pro-Chancellor, University of Lagos, Wale Babalakin, lauded the power sector reforms, he stressed the need for universities to carry out more researches that will help address power generation in the country.
Education are the engine room for the resolution of Nigeria problems must be fostered.
With the support of acting president, we came up with a presidential initiative that will light up homes. The rollout is on now by NDPC in communities in Kano State. That's where we're starting from.
We've always focused on issues that has to do with national development.
The annual lecture is one in series organized by the Department of Economics, University of Lagos, to contribute to national discourse and development. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
You're still watching NTA Network News. We'll take a break now for some messages. The news will continue shortly with Elizabeth. Stay tuned.
Some reunions are worth waiting for. Reconnect your old SIM and we'll give you 6,000 Naira airtime. Also enjoy 8 times bonus on every e-top-up recharge.
The largest data network, Glow Unlimited.
Cadbury Bournvita now comes in an attractive new 500-gram refill pack. Simply open and reseal after use to retain the chocolatey and creamy taste. Cadbury Bournvita. Prepare to win.
I can't believe she just rejected me and my camera.
She rejected my lights. How can she not want makeup?
Maybe when the battery dies, she'll come back to us.
Nah, not with a 4,000 milliampere battery.
Experience the best selfies of your life. Gioni A1 Super Selfie Super Battery.
This is my second daughter. That's the one after that one. That's my granddaughter there.
I have never seen my grandchildren.
Mama, I would like to see your face again.
What's your son's name?
John Luca.
Yeah.
Is that your son?
Papa,
yes.
Yes.
Is that you?
Smartphone Network.
Reorganized, trained, and fully equipped, we are the new improved Nigeria Police Force. We fight crime. We bust syndicates. Whatever the crime, wherever the hideout, the Nigeria Police Force will get you busted. Stop kidnapping, armed robbery, murder.
You're watching NTA Network News. 10% of Africa's trade within the continent unacceptable, says Minister of Foreign Affairs Jeffrey Onyama. Plus, transactions on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange with Chiazalam Ekie on Business News.
A warm welcome to Business News segment. Minister of Foreign Affairs Jeffrey Onyama says a continental free trade area is expected by the end of the year. Onyama says a situation where only 10% of Africa trade is amongst African countries is unacceptable and is of the view that Africa should be one free trade area to promote integration on the continent.
It provides a larger market, for us as a country, and we will involve, of course, all the other MDAs, who have an interest, like the Ministry of Trade and others.
Meanwhile, Nigeria sold 10 and 20-year bonds denominated in the local currency at 16.25%, same as inflation rates. Also, the debt office sold less of the 5-year bond at the auction than it initially offered, as the yields on offer failed to attract investors seeking higher returns on the debts. And Europe's top tech.
Thank you, Chiazalam. Sokoto, the seat of the caliphate, is where we go next, and Asmao brings us details of developments in that zone. Over to you, Asmao.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Good evening and welcome to Sokoto. Governments of Sokoto, Kebbi and Zamfara states are to sponsor comprehensive researches on the history of Kebbi, Gobir and Zamfara kingdoms. This came to the fore at the opening ceremony of the 3-day second national conference organized by Faculty of Arts and Islamic Studies, Usman and Fodio University, Sokoto. Dalhat Abdullahi has the report.
The conference with the theme History, People, Religion and the Culture of Kebbi Kingdom since 1515 is part of the strategies evolved by historians of the Usman and Fodio University, Sokoto, to reshape the struggles of the ancient kingdoms of Hausaland. Declaring the conference open, the chairman, former Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, Justice Usman Muhammad Argungu, said most of the contemporary societal challenges originated from the neglect of historical values. Kebbi State Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu said the greatest challenge to the organizers of the conference might be how to summarize the historical document to suit the contemporary social media. Sokoto State Governor Aminu Waziri Tambol announced that the governments of Kebbi, Sokoto and the Zamfara states will disburse 10 million naira each to the Usman and Fodio University, Sokoto, for comprehensive research in the history of Kebbi, Gobir and Zamfara kingdoms. The convener of the conference, Dean Faculty of Arts and Islamic Studies, Usman and Fodio University, Sokoto, Professor Mukhtar Umar Bonza said, so far, 80 abstracts have been received for presentation at the conference from academics and researchers from different disciplines.
Modern states, especially Nigeria, could learn a lot from the history of this kingdom. What is the secret behind it being, one of the surviving kingdoms for over 500 years?
In Sokoto, Dalatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
We'll take another break. We'll bring you sports and news from around the world when we come back after the break.
We want to buy Indomie noodles. 4 packs, please.
Yo.
This is not my Indomie. Please, sir, if not Indomie, don't call it Indomie.
Sir, the taste is the difference. The difference is in the taste. That's why my brothers, my mommy, my daddy, and I all enjoy a delicious, so very delicious Indomie noodles. The difference is the taste.
Taste is the difference.
Yes. Difference is in the taste. Nothing tastes like my Indomie.
Indomie noodles, tasty nutrition, good for you.
I can't believe she just rejected me and my camera.
She rejected my lights. How can she not want makeup?
Maybe when the battery dies, she'll come back to us.
Nah, not with a 4,000 milliampere battery.
Experience the best selfies of your life. Gioni A1 Super Selfie Super Battery.
Tamara Ebiwe brings us sports update.
The 2017 All Nigeria Athletics Championship